We're Charlie and Leanne, a couple from California who left our cushy suburban life to spend the next several years cruising around the Pacific Ocean on our boat, Juliet. And our little dog, too. In a previous episode, we related the frustrating situation we had going on with our Autopilot computer, which failed last season. Once we'd isolated the problem to the computer, we ordered a replacement from B&G, but first we had to return our failed one and then wait for the replacement to arrive. The whole process took weeks, so rather than continue to pay for a marina slip, we left Marina Palmyra and headed up to Bahia Falsa, which is less than an hour's sail from La Paz. Our friends Colin and Julian on Boundless were waiting there for us, as our plan was to do the passage across the Sea of Cortez with them. We figured it would be way more pleasant to be at anchor, living the cruising life we dreamed of, rather than cooling our heels in a city. Bahia Falsa is a nice little spot to get away from the crowds. It has a cute little palapa on the beach with decent fish tacos and a lovely strip of sand that seems to draw a few vacationers for swimming and sunbathing. Although the weather wasn't great while we were there, it was overcast more often than not. Finally, we got word that our Autopilot computer had arrived, so we quickly weighed anchor and hightailed it back to the marina. So what do you have here, Charlie?
This is our replacement B&G NAC 3 Autopilot computer. And we came back to the marina here in La Paz to pick it up. But this is the thing that we've been waiting for. It's just an Autopilot computer. And we just have to basically take our old wires, hook them up to these connectors, pop the connectors in, and then go through the programming settings for the configuration, and we should be good to go. And I'll take care of that tomorrow. Maybe we'll take the boat out for a quick spin if it's not blowing too hard. And after that, we'll take off and cross to the mainland. But this is the thing we've been waiting for, and it's finally here. It feels good.
Well, so much for that. Charlie installed it, but it didn't work. Not wanting to believe that B&G would actually send us a defective replacement, we spent precious days troubleshooting, enlisting the help of a variety of experts who all came to the same conclusion. Yep, the replacement computer was bad. So we had to order another replacement, and while waiting for that one, we headed back to Bahia Falsa. Fortunately, this time they shipped one out without waiting to receive the bad one, and they promised to bench test it first. But anyway, back to Bahia Falsa, where Boundless was still waiting for us. Clearly they have boundless amounts of patience, and Bubba was super excited to see his buddies again. And just for the record, life is not bad here. Bubba certainly enjoyed all the opportunities for runs on the beach. And we also did some fun hikes up to the tops of the hills overlooking the anchorage. And that's another reason why it's fun to cruise with others. They can film you.
Oh, my hair wasn't right. Take two. Can we do it again?
Okay, come on. Even Bubba likes to play to the camera sometimes. Oh, that's going to be great! Today I'm baking bread. Bread is always a premium on the boat. It's hard to keep, well, first of all, it's hard to get to the store, and store-bought bread doesn't last all that long. And I don't have that much space in the refrigerator or I could keep bread for very long. So baking bread is a big deal. But it's also, who wants to spend all the time and effort kneading bread and waiting for it to rise and kneading it again and blah, blah, blah. So I got this great recipe from Julian on Boundless. Thank you, Julian. Apparently it's from the sailing vessel Prism. And so I watched their video and figured out the tricks to making it. So I just finished putting it together and it rose. There's no kneading involved. You just make the dough, put it in the loaf pan, let it sit to rise for an hour, and then bake it for like 11 minutes. And Julian made it for us last night with some cheese in it. So I threw some cheese in it, and let's see how it comes out for us tonight. Get a look at this. I think Bubba wants some of that bread too. No, Charlie, he's not getting any.
Bubba!
So what else do we like to eat on the boat? Well, we have this great Magna propane grill hanging off the stern rail, which I love to use when it's not too windy. Too much wind and it's hard to light, but this night not only were the winds low, but we had this brilliant sunset to keep me company. Who wouldn't enjoy this view while cooking dinner? That is a Sea of Cortez sunset. That's what we came for. Well, lots of other things too, but that's a bonus. Voila! Dinner is served. Balsamic glazed grilled vegetables, pesto pasta, fresh homemade bread, and a lovely Argentinian Malbec. Yep, we eat well on Juliet.
Bye guys. Have a safe trip. We'll see you in the tropics.
We'll miss you! Well, the darn computer is still not in. Now they're saying it'll be a few more days. Sadly, Boundless couldn't wait any longer, as they have some commitments on the mainland that they need to get there for. So, our dream of doing the crossing with them was not going to happen. At least, not this direction. Maybe when we come back in the spring. So, we had to watch them sail away to do their crossing alone, and we continued our waiting game. I have great news. We got our replacement Autopilot computer, the replacement for the bad replacement. We've been waiting for, oh my God, another week and a half for the second replacement to come in. It was supposed to be here on Saturday, didn't get here, so here it is Monday. It was supposed to be here in the morning, didn't get here, but finally it arrived at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and Charlie had everything all ready to just basically plug and play. He plugged it in, and it works. It works. We're gonna have an autopilot for our big crossing to over the Sea of Cortez to Mazatlan, which we've been planning for weeks now, but was delayed because of this failed autopilot. And I really did not want to cross to Mazatlan without a working autopilot. I find hand steering during the day, but I have a lot of trouble hand steering at night when I have to just, stare at the compass readout, and I just really struggle with that. Charlie does okay with it, but he can't do the whole night. We got to do night watches. So Boundless has been over in Mazatlan waiting for us to meet up with them. And they're very relieved, and we're about to set sail, and I will update as we go along. Great news! Woo!
The autopilot is fortunately down in our largest lazarette, the starboard lazarette. It's underneath the cockpit floor where I'm standing. And there's a lot of space down there, which is good. The downside is, in order to get to it, we got to pull out all this stuff. We have bags of all the canvas covers. We have a Code Zero spinnaker. We have an inflatable kayak, life vest, inflatable gear, all kinds of stuff. You see it's piled all over the boat. There's some up on the deck of the boat as well. But it's a pain to pull all that stuff out. But once you get it out, I got plenty of room to work on here. I'm not a small guy, but I fit down here pretty well. I got our Jordan Series drogue here, which is nice and comfy to rest on. But the autopilot's actually right there. I spent a lot of time cleaning up the wiring to make this easier to install and diagnose in case we have any issues in the future. I added a terminal block for the key wiring, the 12-volt supply wiring, the clutch to the linear drive, and the actual linear drive feed wires. So now if we ever need to diagnose future issues, we've got all the terminals right here. I can just use jumpers to test things out, or a voltmeter to test it from here. Before, that terminal block was on the other side of the port lazarette. So in order to do something, I had to have two people, one person here, another person over there, and it was a real pain to get to. So this way everything's all self-contained right here, easy to get to, and hopefully we'll never have to diagnose any issues in the future, because this thing's going to work for years and years to come.
Finally, off we go! But La Paz had one more surprise for us. Some cruisers say that once you get to La Paz, it's really hard to get out, and that definitely proved true for us.
What's going on?
I'm pushing, but it's trying to push us off.
Oh, there's a bow line tie.
Oh, Jesus. I can't get off the boat now. Is there anybody out here? I can't jump off. You can't jump off. We're not close enough. Oh, Jesus. Be careful. And then make sure you can get back on the boat. All right. All right, we did it. We're okay. We're in a good position.
Okay, all of you sailors out there laughing at us, haven't you ever left a dock line on? Wait, no? You mean you've never done that? Okay, well, now we have. I'm blaming on La Paz taking one last stab at keeping us there. But we actually did make our escape. Destination, Ensenada de los Muertos. It's 58 nautical miles from La Paz to Muertos, which was a good full day of sailing, and it just felt awesome to be out on the water again. We even got some great wind as we passed through the Cerralvo Channel in between Isla Cerralvo and the Baja Peninsula. Ensenada de los Muertos is a classic Baja anchorage, very deserty, lots of cactus and brown hills, with a very long white sand beach. It's a huge anchorage, and we were the only boat here when we arrived, although a couple of boats came in later in the evening. It has a pretty active fishing business going on. All of those cars there are from local fishermen who bring their pangas to use the little boat launch ramp, some of them carrying tourists here for the sport fishing. It also has a popular restaurant there, serving cold beverages and a variety of Mexican and American dishes. There's a luxury resort nearby called Bahia de los Sueños. Of course, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, so everything is pretty quiet right now, but apparently this place was normally hopping. There was a paved road leading from the restaurant where I was able to get in a good long run while Charlie and Bubba ate some guacamole while they waited for me. That's all for this episode. We're thrilled to be cruising again, and with a working autopilot to boot. Next up, we finally kick off our passage across the Sea of Cortez to mainland Mexico, where we hope to reunite with Boundless and experience the tropics. Shout out to our patrons. We love you and hope you are enjoying following our journey. And if any of our viewers are interested in supporting our channel, please check out our Patreon page, where you can buy us a beer or a margarita or even a nice bottle of Argentinian Malbec to enjoy with our next sunset grilled dinner. Thanks for watching, and be sure to drop us a comment and let us know what you think. Until next time.